While choosing between the Canon EOS Rebel T6i and the Canon EOS Rebel T7i can be daunting, we've got you covered. This Canon T6i vs T7i guide includes everything you need to pick your next camera. The T7i is the newer of the two cameras, which means that it offers at least a few upgrades over its predecessor, but the Canon T6i offers the lower, more compelling price point. So if you're on a budget, you're probably wondering, is the extra cash for the T7i worth it? To find out whether the Canon T6i or the Canon T7i is the better choice for you, keep eyes on this video. Key differences: size and weight. Canon's entire T6i range has maintained the same form factor, one that's simple, compact, and lightweight. The EOS Rebel T6i and the EOS Rebel T7i are no exception. You get near identical weights, 532 g on the T7i versus 555 g on the T6i. The dimensions of each camera are also similar, 131x100x76 on the T7i compared to 132x101x78 on the T6i. Looking at the two cameras side by side, you won't notice much of a difference. The front grip is a bit more recessed on the T7i, which can make for a slightly improved handling experience. But both cameras are generally well-shaped and easy to work with in any situation. If you're dead set on shaving weight off your kit, or you're coming from a very lightweight camera setup, that extra 20 g on the T6i might make a difference, but otherwise I wouldn't worry about it. Rear LCD and optical viewfinder. The Canon Rebel T7i and the Canon Rebel T6i are DSLRs, which means that you won't have access to an electronic viewfinder. Those are pretty much confined to mirrorless, but you do get crisp, clear optical viewfinders, albeit with 95% coverage. If you've ever used a viewfinder with less than 100% coverage, you'll know why that loss of 5% of the frame is frustrating. It's easy to miss compositional elements along the edges of the frame, and thus have to do extra work cropping and post-processing. On the other hand, you do get decent LCDs on both cameras, sporting touchscreen capabilities as well as full articulation. Build quality and handling. Entry-level DSLRs like the Canon T6i and the Canon T7i are top of the line when it comes to build quality, but they are far from poor. Both bodies are made from a mix of aluminum and polycarbonate, though neither packs weather sealing technology, so be careful when venturing out in rain or snow. Holding the two cameras in your hand, they feel a bit plasticky, but nothing to be especially concerned about. Canon has managed to create a comfortable mold that works well for folks with big and small hands alike. This is coupled with a good shooting experience, thanks to the touchscreen LCD, the tilt and swivel capabilities, plus a simple array of buttons to work with. Autofocus. Canon's autofocus systems just keep getting better and better, and while the T7i and the T6i are hardly new, they still both reap the benefits of upgraded AF technology. The T6i is the older of the two camera models, which means that its 19-point AF system is hardly groundbreaking, but the points are all cross-type, which makes for generally fast autofocus in both good light and low light. Drive, FPS. Once again, if you look at the Canon T7i vs Canon T6i, the former shows itself to be the much better option for photographers who work with moving subjects. While the 76 frames per second continuous shooting speed is far from class-leading, it's enough to give you a decent shot at getting good sports images, wildlife images, and more. This is compared to 5 frames per second shooting on the Canon T6i. The difference may not look like much, but 5 FPS is really the edge of what I'd recommend for any sort of action shooting, and 1 FPS can be the difference between a failed outing and a successful one. Image quality. When it comes to image quality, the Canon T7i and the Canon T6i look identical on the surface, 24 megapixels, APS-C sensor, but the truth is that the T7i packs a brand new sensor which makes for image improvements all around. Honestly, looking at files side by side I can't see a huge difference between those of the Canon T6i vs T7i, but it's there, and it matters, especially for anyone who frequently shoots in low light, such as indoors or at night. Battery life. To put it bluntly, the Canon EOS Rebel T6i's battery life is pretty mediocre, especially for a DSLR. You get 440 shots before charge runs out, which is hardly enough for a long photo shoot, let alone a day trip. I recommend you grab at least one extra battery, or several, if you plan to use the T6i non-stop with no charging. Fortunately, the Canon T7i does improve on its predecessor, offering 600 shots compared to the 440 shots on the Canon T6i. Is it the best battery life out there? No, but 600 shots should get you through a full photo shoot, and will save you money when it comes to buying extra batteries. Video. Video is one area where the Canon T6i feels thoroughly outdated. You can shoot in full HD at 30 FPS, which just isn't enough for most videographers and vloggers, especially those who are looking to future-proof their work. And if you want to use 6.8 for slow motion, you'll have to drop down to 1280x720 resolution. The Canon 6i does offer a microphone port, which is important for videographers looking to record external audio, and the fully articulating touchscreen is nice, but it just can't compete with more recent offerings. Price. As you should now realize, the Canon 7i matches or outperforms its predecessor in essentially every way. The real question is this: are the 7i's improved capabilities worth the money? First, let's check out the prices of these two cameras. You can pick up the Canon 7i for around $770 with a kit lens, compared to around $610 for the Canon 6i, and note that both kit lenses are the same 1855i SSDM model. Final words: the Canon 7i and the Canon 6i are both capable of excellent images, and for the absolute beginner, either one will do the trick. But the 7i does include several major upgrades that are a big deal to shooters looking to eke out the best possible images or video, giving Canon's addition of a new sensor with improved image quality, a significantly upgraded autofocus system with dual pixel AF, no less, plus a couple of extra goodies. Go with the 7i. Unless you're either on a very strict budget, it'll be worth it. That's all for today. We hope the information provided in this video has helped you make a wise and informed decision.